What's good, YouTube? It's Pommyinoz here, and we've got a new video for you. Before we get into that though, looking at the analytics, 58% of you aren't subscribed. So before we get into it, smash that like button, hit the notification bell, and please subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And today, we're doing something that's kind of emotional for a Carlton fan. We're going to go and look back at the 22 Brendon Bolton used in his first game in charge. So going way back into 2016, it was a new Carlton, a new direction. We'd got rid of Malthouse, we'd got a young, progressive coach in, and we'd gone with the option that was kind of logical. Everyone who's been an assistant coach to Alistair Clarkson is guaranteed to win a flag. It started off really well as well against Richmond, going down in a tightly contested game at the G, opening up the footy season in the now traditional fixture of us versus the Tigers. However, as we know, fast forward to the end of 2018, Carlton had won 2 games. We had a real average 2019 up until the bye, and at Essendon, he ended up leaving the club. But let's look at them 22 players he selected, and what are they doing, and how do their careers pan out? Jacob Weitering. Jacob Weitering made his debut this game, and the number 1 draft pick was about to be labelled Carlton's Great White Hope. He's ended up playing 77 games for Carlton and he's still going strong. And for me, he is a lock to break the stranglehold of McGovern and Andrews in the All-Australian team. A solid key defender who's really grown in age. We did have that 1 year where Bolton thought he was a key forward, but since shifting down the back again, has really shown he's a staple of a Carlton Football Club backline. Michael Jamieson, the legend of the club. He was around and a staple for a long time. And before we had Weitering, we had Jamo. 5 games in that year, and he ended his glittering career with 150 games for the club at the end of that year. Destroyed Buddy Franklin in round 2. He was the epitome of a real good team player. Strong in the air, reliable down back, good user. A solid player was old Jamo, and he's sorely missed at the club. Zach Toohey. Before defecting to the Geelong, the Irish tattooed little gangster down halfback was marauding with his big booming kick. He played another 22 games for Carlton before ending up going to the Cats. And he's still going strong for Geelong and usually getting into car park scuffles. Bryce Gibbs. The man bun. He was one of my favourites, old Bryce Gibbs. Before he ended up at the Crows, the trade bank for Carlton. He played a further 43 games before finally seeking that trade to Adelaide, which seemed to go on forever. As usual, Carlton ripped Adelaide Crows off and got way too much for one of our players. Currently on the precipice of the Adelaide Crows side, struggling in and out with 266 games to his name. But I love Bryce Gibbs. Sam Rowe. Tell you what, this guy would do anything for the football club. One thing that sticks out for me, 2017, him going in the ruck against Brodie Grundy when we had injuries. Love Sam Rowe. He ended up playing a further 2 years for our football club, and he left at the end of 2018 in our disastrous year on 99 games. As luck would have it, St Kilda picked him up, and under our club legend Brad Ratton finally got to 100 games before retiring at St Kilda on 100 games flat out. Great servant of the football club, a clubman in every sense of the word. One of my favourites. Dylan Buckley. He only played 12 games under Bolton before leaving to go back to GWS. He's now more famous for his wonderful podcast, Dylan Friends. Loves wearing a little woolly hat, decent banter, probably wasn't the best footballer, had all the talent in the world, just couldn't quite apply it on the field, but doing very well with a liaison role for the Carlton Football Club, and obviously, like I said, a wonderful podcast. Sam Docherty, 93 games for our co-captain after 2 injury-hit years. He's a staple when fit for the Carlton side, and in my opinion, probably one of the best small defenders in the comp. Absolute rock down the back, personifies grit, determination, has everything you love to see. He's still going strong, phenomenal footballer. Love the doc. Nick Graham. Now, if ever there was a flat track bully in football, Nick Graham is it. He was delisted after 2018 after 48 games for the football club, but this guy could get 42 touches in VFL football, kick 3 goals. But he had the spatial awareness of someone reverse parking a Renault Espace, and he didn't have the greatest end product. He looked good, but was kind of ineffective at AFL level. Currently playing his trade in local footy, but he was in and out of the side. No big loss. Cade Simpson, this guy is a staple. A staggering 326 games for Carlton Football Club. And he is kind of like, I think, forced into the Carlton team. I reckon he's one of the first names in the team sheet. 2 more losses, though, needed to surpass Kevin Murray as the most losses for a football player. It looks like he's going to break that record. If anyone deserves a flag for Carlton, though, it's old Cade. Jed Lamb. Jed Lamb was a staple under Bolt. Tough to the ball, was willing to be a thug when the ref wasn't looking. Absolutely love a bit of Jed Lamb. He was tenacious, he was mean, he was horrible. And he had probably the most ridiculous surname for someone to be horrible. He was amassed 66 games for the football club. Grit, determination, he was a little thug, a little terrier. I enjoyed Jed Lamb's game. He surprisingly did get delisted at the end of 2018, and I think sometimes it was a mistake. We kind of need that mongrel in our team. Levi Casbolt. Tell you what, this guy is peppered in 2016, and now he's loved. If you're looking at comeback tales, you've got Cinderella's story, you've got Floyd Mayweather's in and out of retirement, and then you've probably got Levi Casbolt. This guy just keeps making a way to redevelop his career. He's still on the books at Carlton, and he's reinventing himself as probably one of the best swingmen in the competition. 125 games for Carlton, and he's getting a lot of love from the Blue Boy faithful. Phenomenal little servant of the football club. Probably was unlucky to be a key forward when we had a midfield that was absolutely... Paddy Cripps. Tell you what, this guy has developed from blonde-haired pretty boy to certified beast. 102 games for Carlton, now the co-captain. Is there anything he can't do? This guy carries the team on his back at times, as well as the other players. And you'd say the only thing that's waiting for him now is winning a flag for his Blue Boys, and also a Brownlow. Great footballer, and he is the white hope of this football club. Blaine Burkhurst. Tell you what, probably the most generous draft pick in the world when we drafted him. How he got that eye, I'll never know. Ended up playing 25 times for Carlton, and he was delisted in 2017. Really, there was not much you can say about Blaine, apart from now he displays what most people do with a South African surname and their inability to handle lagers. Usually now getting a bit drunk on a Friday afternoon and laying into Carlton fans about how he was harshly treated. Complete flog in every sense of the word, and it's probably the reason I don't trust people with alliteration in their name. Andrew Walker. The Skywalker. I love a man that can climb on the back of someone's shoulders and take a mark. He brought the curtain down on a highlight reel of a career in 2016, playing 202 times for our beloved football club. Andrew Walker is one of my favourite Carlton players. Great bloke in every sense of the word. Has a massive highlight reel, and surely his mark is one that Kane Corns can't call overrated. Sam Kerridge. He was in and out of the Carlton side, probably more times than we've ever made 22s. This guy was just one of them players that couldn't get any continuity. He came with so much promise from Adelaide Crows, and he was unceremoniously delisted in 2018 after playing 69 games for them. A bit like Nick Graham in the sense that you put him in the VFL, this guy is dominant. But you put him in the AFL, and he had the distribution of a corrupt third world government. Had all the talent in the world, just couldn't quite get it in the AFL. But was a good servant, he had some good games, but it was probably not the best end for his career. Matty Cruiser. The tractor, eh? Is there anything better than seeing Cruiser chug along? This guy is one of my favourites to see for Carlton. And also, I just love the crew chant. You can't beat it. 189 games for Carlton. And when he's not injured in recent years, he's still unadulterated the number one at Carlton as the ruckman. Absolute phenomenal servant of the football club. It's a shame with injuries, and we are probably looking at the stage now that he passes the baton on, but still a very valuable player to this Carlton side. And when he's in the team, we're a better side than when he's not. Matty Wright. The roaming small forward, eh? I love Matty Wright. Intense forward pressure, could snag a goal. Just went about his business, you know, like the old soccer centre forwards in the 90s. No messing around. I was heartbroken when we let him go to the Crows at the end of 2018, and was kind of shocked because we actually had no small forwards. We were taller than the Ents in Lord of the Rings when we released him. A joy to watch. Played 159 games. before going to Adelaide, where he's now one of the youth development coaches for their football club. Mark Murphy, Captain Fantastic, eh? He's the whipping boy of the Carlton fraternity around this time. Doesn't get the respect I think he deserves. He's still going strong, doing the simple things well, really letting that midfield keep the chains going. And I tell you what, that sidestep, that banana, love Mark. Andreas Everett, I tell you what, this guy could have been a supermodel. Look at him, what a specimen. He looks chiselled, he looks like he is made out of marble. I tell you what though, his game wasn't marble, it was more like a SpongeBob SquarePants. Much travelled, did have a cool name, and was delisted at the end of 2016. Showed a lot of promise, just never quite did it. Andrew Phillips, maybe it's an AFL rule that you've got to have a novelty ginger in the side, but this guy was always the backup for Cruiser. He could rest in the forward line, and he's currently played 41 games before transferring shockingly this season to the Scum. What's going on there? You don't go to Essendon. Got a good chance though to add to his 41 games because Bell Chambers is about as reliable as a news feed from North Korea. So I expect to see him play. Hopefully he lines up against Carlton and Pittener absolutely smashes him. Ed Kerner. I love Ed. Tell you what, Ed is tough to the ball, hard at it, one of the best taggers in the game for mine. And he's a staple of the Carlton Football Club. He really does show what it is to wear navy blue. What he lacks in talent, he makes up for in 110% dedication. Not the most technically gifted footballer, but I tell you what, his application is exemplary. And if all 22 blokes who played for Carlton had this guy's application and commitment, we would be a top 4 side. Phenomenal player and I love him. There was that kind of moment where for some reason Bolton put our best tagger in the forward pocket. But now he's back on the midfield, causing havoc, stopping good players playing, and he's sure to break 200 games for this football club. Love Ed Kerner, big fan. Finally, Simon White, 87 games before being delisted at 2017 for the defender. And for someone that was picked up in the 50s in a rookie pick, getting 80 plus games is good value. I like Simon White. He did things just, the simple things well, and probably was unlucky not to have more games for the football club. Left, like I say, at the end of 2017. But I'll tell you what, them 87 games you got for him, you got a good minimum 6 out of 10 out of him. He was great. He was a very good servant of the football club. So that's it. That's Brendon Bolton's 22. Who was your favourites in that list? It seems such a long time ago, and it seems like we haven't really changed. We're still in the transitional phase. Little did we know at 2016 we would still be, on that. Things look good now though with Teague, but that was Bolton's side. A lot of them are still there. Let me know who your favourite is, and as always, thanks so much for watching. Pom out.